You have to explain this
Right,
to me.
okay.
Okay, so you are in the air.
Yes, I'm at 10,000 feet.
And the fuel finishes.
Yeah, so I decided, okay, because, so like I mentioned to you earlier on, you have to be super, super duper efficient to the last drop.
Yes.
So I want to know exactly how much droplets of fuel I have on the aircraft.
Okay.
So I know how much fuel I've got in this tank, how much fuel I've got in this tank. So the big bad boy tank, I want to know how much fuel I can take from it.
Okay.
So I take the plane up, use every single fuel in there, the engine cuts out.
And the plane doesn't, I mean, again,
so if the engine cuts out, then you start losing height.
Right, exactly.
You start dropping.
That's what I'm thinking.
Yeah,
exactly.
So you start to drop, and as you start dropping, the 10 seconds feels like 10 minutes. By the way, it's like everything slows down.
Yes, because anything can happen at this point.
So you say Jesu, and then you switch tanks, and then obviously we do something called pitch for a certain speed, and then you try to start the engine all over again.
Right.
But that just helps you know exactly how much fuel
you would need for
the finite amount of fuel you need. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
I know that in 2017 you were the first African to do the solo trip.
Yeah.
But that was the first time you attempted.
Yes, correct.
This. Yes.
Correct.
Was there a trigger?
The trigger is doubt. The trigger is every man, every woman is scared to fail. So I was born in England, and my formative years was in Lagos, and I went to Government College Lagos in Surulere.
Okay.
And I would say to my friends, "Oh, when I grow up, I want to be a pilot." And the first thing is, look at your nose.
What does it have got to do with it?
Look at your head.
Right.
You
So
know,
just things that
you have ogo. You know, is it people like you? And so a lot of people defeat themselves, actually give up in life before they actually make an attempt. And the question though is, the people that do great things were not made in a lab. They're just like you and I. They were made out of a woman. From the age of 10, I dreamt of flying around the world.
From the age of 10, you dreamt of flying around the world.
And I achieved it when I was 37.
Yeah.
So I'll tell you a little, very quick story.
Okay.
So my last name is Odujinrin.
Right.
And we're from Ijebu. And there are 3 Odujinrins.
Okay.
One is a senator, one is a book writer.
Right.
So my father would go places and they'll say, "Oh, Odujinrin, oh, are you the book writer? No. Oh, are you the senator? No." And my father would be like, "We're the ones nobody knew." And then when I flew around the world and the vice president called me to Aso Rock, and my father went around saying, "Well, guess what? We're now the Odujinrins, the aviators." My father then said to me, in all honesty, he said, "Son, I actually wished I'd been there for you much sooner." But no love lost.
No love lost.
I got married very early.
Right.
And my wife ticked every single box of what I looked for in a woman. The first thing I looked for in a woman, don't call me crazy. Because all the girls I'd been with thought I was crazy. Like, you're mad, you're going to kill yourself. Look at you on the motorcycle, look at you flying the airplane. So when she saw me and she thought what I did was cool, I thought, oh, wow, I think I found my soulmate here.
Yeah.
My kids at school have a television in their classroom. And the teacher asked them, tell us about someone famous or someone inspiring that you know as a child. And most kids were writing about Columbus or writing about this guy or that guy that conquered this. And my daughter chose to write about me.
Oh dear. I love
and the teacher went, "No, someone famous, not your dad, not your dad." And she went, "Well, Google my dad."
That's famous.
And the whole classroom was like, "Oh my God, Leona." And she came home and said, "Papa, I'm really, really proud of you." And for me, that encapsulates everything I've ever, to be able to inspire your kids is priceless, I think.
I would think so.
So, flying around the world, one of my trips, I got taken to a place where a father and son had just died because we were flying around the world. So, people were trying to tell me that, look, listen, this is a father and son. The aircraft was too heavy. You could end up becoming like this. The risks are enormous. The weather is the biggest risk.
Right.
The aircraft technical issues is the biggest risk. Right. Support as well, if you don't get the correct level of support. And again, I think in my case, I did a lot of things the unconventional way because it's not for people like me. So I'm the last person
Okay.
that should have flown a plane around the world
Why?
for obvious reasons.
Color.
Everything.
Right. Right.
In my college years, I'd never been to college in the daytime. I'd go to college 6 to 9 because I'd work 9 to
During
5.
the daytime.
And then I'd be in class at the age of 19 years old with 40-year-olds and 50-year-olds doing their A-levels. And the very first time I took an annual leave to go to college in the daytime, I started to cry because I saw what my peers were doing. And I missed out on so much of that. You know, it's like the sacrifice I had to make for that.
You know, you always say that when people attempt extreme feats, that there is a deeper drive, maybe even a spiritual thing. People are trying to connect to something bigger than themselves. In your case, what is that thing that you are reaching for?